Hello everyone, Bhargav here. Today we are going to learn about projectile motion. Basically, we are going to learn about what is a projectile and how we can solve different questions related to projectile motion without using any complex formulas. Okay, so what is a projectile? By definition, anything we throw in the air can be considered as a projectile. For example, you can see in this diagram that a cannon ball is thrown. This is an example of a projectile motion. The cannonball will hit the ground at some distance. Okay, let's see another example. A player kicking a football is also an example of projectile motion. Okay, so these are all examples of projectile. Here we want to find out different parameters such as maximum height it can gain, how far it can go, and how much time it takes to cover that distance. All these can be found out by knowing the velocity of the object and the angle from which the ground it has been thrown. We will use the concept of vectors known as resolution of vectors and acceleration due to gravity. Let's see how gravity works. Okay. What is gravity? It is the pull or the attractive force of the earth towards us or any other object. This pull is the reason why we are glued to the ground and why things comes down when we throw things upwards. We know that when there is a force, there is an acceleration. That is, when we apply force, things move, or we can say it gains speed or lose speed. And change in speed is acceleration. We call this acceleration as gravitational acceleration. Okay? The gravitational acceleration is denoted by g and it has a value near the Earth's surface, 9.8 meter per second square. Let's define some axes. Okay? The line parallel to the Earth's surface will be considered as horizontal axis and perpendicular will be considered as vertical axis. Okay, let's move forward. Let's take an example. We have a ball and we have thrown the ball with an angle theta and with a velocity v. We can resolve this v into two parts, in the vertical part and the horizontal part. The horizontal component of the velocity is v cos theta and the vertical component of the velocity is v sin theta. Now, why we are doing this? Okay, let's move forward. When we have two vectors, we can add this vector to find a single resultant vector. Okay, by using triangle law or the parallelogram law. Okay, so when the two vectors can be converted into one single resultant vector, that resultant vector can also be converted into two vectors. That's what we are doing in the resolution of vectors, and we have an advantage in doing so. Let's see how. Let's take an example of a block which is at rest. We apply a force in the y direction. Okay, so what will happen? The block will move in the y direction. The velocity will be in the y direction. Will the box move in the x direction? Obviously not. It will move in the y direction. Okay, let's take another example. Now the box has a velocity in the x direction, let's say v0, and we apply a force in the y direction. What will happen? Will it change the x component of the velocity or it will change the y component of the velocity? Let's recall to this previous question. When the box was at rest, the force didn't affect the x direction. It only affected in the y direction. And let's recall here, it has a constant velocity, and for constant velocity we don't need any force. Okay, it will move with constant velocity. But this block will gain some velocity in the y direction, and it will not affect the x direction of the velocity. Let's say after some time it has gained some velocity in the y direction, let's say v1, and the x direction of the velocity, let's say it is v0. So the resultant velocity will be, by vector addition, will be vf. Okay, so we can see a very unique part. Whenever we apply a force perpendicular to something, it does not affect the perpendicular component of the velocity. It only affects the direction of the force. Okay, this same concept can be applied in the projectile motion. Let's see how. Let's take this scenario. We have a gravitational force towards the surface of the earth, and we have taken the acceleration due to gravity as g. Okay, the ball has a velocity and an angle theta from the surface. Okay, so we have divided this components as v cos theta in the horizontal direction and the v sin theta. Let's recall the previous question. Since we are applying a force in the vertical direction which is opposite in nature, so it will affect only the vertical component of the velocity. It will not affect the horizontal component of the velocity. Only the vertical component of the velocity will change. What will happen? Since the vertical velocity is upward direction and the gravitational force in the downward direction, the vertical component of the velocity will decrease. Okay, after some point the velocity will be 0, and when it is 0 it will fall back. Let's take a deep insight into this concept. Okay, let's see the diagram and see what are the different terms used. R is the range, which is the distance traveled by the projectile. H is the height, which is the maximum height gained by the projectile, and T is the time, which is the time of flight it is taken by the projectile to complete this motion. As I have stated earlier, the vertical component of the velocity will only be affected by the gravity, and the horizontal component will remain the same in the entire motion. The vertical component will be the reason for the height and the horizontal component for the range. Since the vertical component of velocity is upwards and the gravity is downwards, the vertical component of velocity will decrease. At some point it will be 0. This point will be the maximum height reached by the projectile, and it has no velocity left to move upwards. After that, it will start moving downwards and start to fall and gain velocity in the downward direction. Eventually it will fall in the ground. Since we are breaking this 2D motion into two 1D motion, we can use the 1D motion formulas separately and define the values of the h, r and t. Let's see this formula. Initially vertical component of was v sin theta, and after reaching maximum height it became 0. Using the formula, final velocity is 0 and initial velocity is v sin theta. And the displacement will be h, and after solving this we get this formula. Okay, h is equals to v square sin square theta divided by 2h. Similarly, after completing the projectile motion, the displacement of the vertical component is 0, and using this formula we can find the time of flight, which is t is equals to twice u sin theta by g. Okay, and finally, since the time is same for both the components, the displacement in the horizontal direction will be the range. Since no acceleration in horizontal direction, simple formula speed multiplied by time will get the range. I highly recommend not to memorize these formulas but to know how it came, so that you can solve complex problem related to projectile motion. Thank you.